So first we're going to show you Complete Control. This is something that's been sitting in front of me this whole time, but I haven't really thoroughly introduced you to the controller. I use this to make all my music just because of the fluidity of using it. I really like the way it looks. I like the way it feels. It's got a really nice key bed. I really like the functionality of these keys up top here. And actually, I also have additional ways that I integrate this keyboard into this piece of software by hosting the Complete Control kind of shell program, the plugin called Complete Control. So I'm gonna go here and set up a new track. I'm gonna go and set up a new effect. These are just basic shortcut commands I just did there, like so. Okay, I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna delete it. I'm gonna hit Control T, Command T on a Mac. Now this is one of my special shortcut commands that I set up myself. I'm just gonna hit Alt F and it's gonna bring up my effects window. Very simple. Now, the other way to do this would be to go like this. Right click, insert new track. Okay, that's not too bad. Now we've got to go up to this little tiny effects thing here and then click that, okay? I'm moving my mouse all over the place. There's no reason to do that. And you're gonna get RSI in your arm eventually. There's a reason why I actually use my left hand to scroll. Back 20 years ago when I used to work in the visual effects industry, I worked 16-hour days every day. I actually locked up my fingers so bad I couldn't use a mouse anymore. That's why I started using this pen and tablet. That kind of changed everything for me because it's so much less of a burden on these two fingers and these tendons. So ergonomics is really important, and because of that, I really honestly still can't use a mouse with my right hand for more than an hour or two, or it'll start to stiffen up again and I won't be able to click the buttons anymore. It's kind of disturbing. So I just switched to the other hand, and now I just use two pointing devices, and then I just use a lot of keyboard commands. So that solves a lot of problems right off the bat. So I'm just gonna go ahead and, instead of doing that, I'm gonna go Control T, Alt F, and then I'm gonna type in Control or Complete, K-O-M-P, and then after a couple letters, it'll come right up. I hit the down arrow twice. I wanna use the VST3, it's a more efficient version of the plugin. Hit enter, and it comes right up. And then as soon as it does that, this keyboard reacts to this plugin being loaded because the computer tells it, oh, hey, I just loaded up the plugin for Complete Control. Let's do an integration. And that's what this is. So I'm gonna just pull this over with the mouse, and I'm gonna hit the browser button on my keyboard here, and it's gonna bring up this really cool user interface. I'm just gonna go through and I'm gonna grab one of these instruments. I'm gonna grab one of the first ones here. As I'm moving this, it's reacting to the knob, and then it's also changing on the screen at the same time. So this is all fully integrated. So I'm just gonna grab one of these presets here. I'm gonna use this little knob here, scroll down. That's pretty interesting. I'll grab that. And then here's this awesome interface, this ARP 2600. This is really cool. I like using this interface. A lot of the reason Complete Control works so well is they have a partnership with Arturia, who made this plugin, and it allows them to have this integration with this keyboard where a lot of the most used parameters are up here in these little knobs right on the bottom of this screen, and I can just kind of adjust those on the fly. So when I'm not mousing right now, I'm using these knobs on the keyboard. That is why I love this keyboard. It's really well integrated into a lot of the plugins that I use. If it isn't, if it's using a plugin that's not integrated, that's not NKS standard or Native Instruments standard, I can just flip over to MIDI, click the MIDI button right here, and this is just a general instrument. It's got these blue lights that lit up, and now this interface is completely changed, and it doesn't have the parameter names. It doesn't have the name of the instrument on it. So if I don't have any integration with this Complete Control keyboard, I can actually go in and use the MIDI function on this keyboard and assign the knobs to whatever I want. And you might want to do that anyway, just because it's more intuitive how you want to work with the synthesizer the way you want to work, and just avoiding using the mouse. Sometimes the mouse is the most efficient way to do it. Other times it really sucks. So kind of use your intuition and see what works best for you. So now we're going to do this a little differently. I'm going to show you how I load the same Arturia plugin without Complete Control and without that integration to this keyboard, and how you would normally just map one of these knobs to the interface. All right, so I'm going to go here. I'm going to write ARP. Okay, ARP 2600, I'm gonna click here, hit enter, good to go. All right, so now this is the same plugin opened outside of Complete Control. And as you can see, the keyboard here hasn't changed. It's still that blue color, it's still the interface here is the same. So I'm just gonna select one of these parameters, this first parameter here, envelope follower it says. I'm going to go up here to param, and it's going to come up with this little window and say, okay, learn. And you can just grab this and hit OK. And now you can see that this fader inside the software is mapped to this control. That's not as exciting as using the Komplete control setup, but it totally works, and it's a lot more flexible to do it this way if you're gonna do specific parameters that you're gonna perform while you're recording. So it's definitely worth it to try this out. Also, this negates the need to have this controller. This controller's, I think, $700, so I probably wouldn't use this if I had a constrained budget. However, most MIDI controllers have knobs and faders that you can map directly into your DAW software and control parameters that way. It's actually really simple to do. Having a learn function inside of Reaper allows me to do this in here, but if I were gonna do this inside of Ableton, it's a little bit different how it's set up. Other DAWs are different as well. You just have to kind of look at the manual or just poke around a little bit and figure out how to do that. I'm not gonna cover that in this course. Essentially though, you could map a whole bunch of these things. All right, so say I want this fader here, this envelope follower parameter here, and I'm gonna click on this guy here, go up here and hit learn. This would be another one that's ripe for a shortcut command. So here, let's, all right, so I'm gonna grab this one, I'm gonna hit OK, and now this parameter is now mapped. So then we've got this control and this control now mapped. Really simple to do. Again, if you take the time to program your individual keyboard controller, you're gonna be able to do this a lot more quickly. You can control things like vibrato, you can control things like pitch bend, you can control things like bit crush if it's an effect. Like any single controller inside any of these interfaces, you can map to your external controller and have a lot more of an interesting experience using a DAW to make music.